former stockbroker in the New York office of the Nikko Securities Company, one of Japan's largest brokerage houses, has pleaded guilty to wire fraud in a $120 million scheme to defraud her company and a Swiss investment bank, the United States Attorney's Office in Manhattan said yesterday. During 1987 and 1988, according to a complaint filed in Federal District Court in Manhattan, the former stockbroker, Mona Sun, created a fictitious company called the Chinese International Growth Fund. She obtained the signature of Nikko's president, Kiichi Suzuki, on an unrelated document and attached the signature to a series of documents she used to sell investments in the fund. The money was supposed to be used to build a ceramics plant in Japan, but investigators said the fund existed only on paper and had no assets. An informant told investigators that Ms. Sun, who is 58 years old, asked for and used his home address in Queens as the mailing address for the fund. Another witness told investigators that Ms. Sun described herself as the only officer of Chinese International, the complaint states. The first customer the scheme called for 15 billion yen, or $120 million, in promissory notes to be sold in 10 installments, known as tranches. Dreieck Finance AG, a bank based in Lugano, Switzerland, bought the first 3 tranches for 4.5 billion yen, or about $36 million. According to the complaint, Ms. Sun deposited the money from the Dreieck transactions into a bank account she opened in December 1987 at the Tokai Bank in Tokyo. The account was in Nikko's name on behalf of the Chinese International Growth Fund, and Ms. Sun authorized herself to conduct all transactions. Records show that payments from the account of $40,000 to $640 were made to Eugene Chen and Chong Peter Kim. Nikko. About $28 million of the money was recovered by freezing the account, said a lawyer for Dreieck, Peter F. Nadel. The rest of the money has not been recovered, and officials said they did not know what Ms. Sun and her co-conspirators had done with it. Nikko had to pay Dreieck about $4 million as the result of an arbitration between the companies in 1988. Ms. Sun, who entered her guilty plea on Wednesday, was extradited to New York earlier this year from Hong Kong, where she had moved after leaving Nikko in 1988. She is being held in Manhattan and is scheduled to be sentenced by Judge Lawrence M. McKenna on November 6. She faces a maximum of 30 years in prison and $1.5 million in fines, as well as a possible order of restitution. It was a masterful fraud perpetrated with forged documents, Mr. Nadel said. They were people who knew what they were doing. They had great plans to sell similar paper throughout the world to a whole range of banks they were negotiating with. Evan Stewart, Nikko's general counsel,